Hey out there. This is Friday, November 14th, 2014, and I'm in beautiful San Diego, California, and it's about just about 10 in the morning here. And you can see it's absolutely beautiful. Their whole area is like a big playground, and you know, everywhere ought to be as nice as San Diego, except for the traffic, particularly the freeway traffic. Save me, Jesus. Save me, Jesus, from this God-forsaken place. So when you take me, Jesus, please put me amongst friends. Don't put me back with these power-crazy money lovers again. Save me, Jesus. Save me, Jesus. Save me, Jesus, from this God-forsaken place. I sing rarely, if ever, publicly, and that just came to me spontaneously, and I thought I would share a tidbit from Bobby Charles and his tune, Save Me, Jesus. When I was talking earlier on the video at the start there, I mentioned the freeways here in Southern California. Absolutely horrendous, a nightmare. You know, I came in last night, Thursday evening, 13th. I was going through LA. I caught it right at rush hour around 4:35, and it was just hell, you know. And so when I hear people talk about overpopulation and stuff, it's not that I don't get where they're coming from, but I think it's so important just to understand how fundamentally and how roundly, completely, our paradigm has been affected and infected with the corralling, the manipulating of the general public and our reality, okay? Because, all these people go into these jobs, at a certain time is, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out you're going to have problems when people are driving these distances to and from work. And these are problems that our overlords, who are illegitimate, they understand these problems. They know that this is what they want. They want people miserable because they're miserable. And so all they really care about is imposing misery on people. And believe me, Southern California freeways are miserable. The San Diego freeway, we're talking about Interstate 5, and it's unbelievable. I got lost twice on the way here, and it happened to me the last time too. It's just so easy to get off on the wrong way. The signs aren't posted well, and they're constantly changing things. People are bumper to bumper, so changing lanes is not exactly easy. So even if you saw something in time, you might not be able to get over 5, 6, 7 lanes of traffic in time to take your exit. So it's really hell. And and this is why I'm talking about the population thing. But I also want people to understand that there's solutions to all these problems. Problems as, tangible as, freeway traffic and the way people drive out there. And I really can't complain even just about other people, but I saw it in myself. I saw this like a disease takes over, and you just, you're confounded with having to be stuck in stop and go traffic. That when you get a chance, when the traffic opens up, your tendency is to want to just, go as fast as you can. And hey, if, I'm going to keep up with the flow of traffic, whatever that may be. And, it reaches probably unsafe, absurdist levels, especially if there's any kind of moisture on the ground like there was yesterday. We had light rainfall up and down the state. So the highways were dangerous, but you see these people, and I'm not pointing the finger because I found myself falling into this same kind of thing, and when I came to my senses, I'd back off and relax and, remind myself that I'm not in a hurry, and that even if I was, it doesn't help to beat my head against the wall. And there's just a whole lot of cars, man, maybe, a million cars going the same direction as you, and for whatever reason, and you're stuck in this mess. So, it's time to take a chill pill, but it's not always easy when, you're in this very stressful situation, and driving is very stressful. And people's emotions are displayed, what's going on in their private life and, anywhere else in their lives. It comes out. That's an opportunity for them to vent frustration and get things off their chest in that way, let's say. It's just getting their driving mojo out. But yeah, but there's solutions to these problems. I mean, and it all comes down to economics. That's why I'm always talking about economics. And recently I had to correct some reporters on the Alex Jones channel about their belief that a higher minimum wage was a bad thing. And I understand where they're coming from. I understand their logic. I understand that they're confused and they've been deceived. And it's this idea that, oh well, hey, if we give the workers a cost of living adjustment, which is, who can argue that's not justifiable in the first place? That they have a right to maintain, some minimum semblance of a standard of living. Who doesn't? Unless you're evil. It's as simple as that. But their thinking is, well, what? They're shooting themselves in the foot by demanding, increase in the minimum wage, because this is going to cause inflation. This is the common mindset. And, that it's only people that are, just starting, life, and, it's young people stuck in these jobs. But I'm here to tell you, there's a whole lot of people, and it runs, there's, you can pay somebody that's 65 years old the same as you could pay a 15-year-old. That's what minimum wage does. So you understand it's not just reserved for young people, that there's a lot of people, older people, that are forced to take these really crummy jobs, which are ubiquitous. When you think about it, think of all the people working in the malls, all the people working at all the franchise fast food joints, all the clerks in so many grocery stores. Well, they might get a little more. You got these really soft union type deals. But you think about all factory workers out there, just so many people. I know so many small businesses that take advantage of it, and they hire somebody, for $9 an hour to do landscaping, and I'm thinking to myself, what? This is the hardest work, and these guys are going to barely be able to afford to pay their rent on what they make. That's what a minimum wage job will afford you. Think about it. Do the math. It's all mathematics. I'm not peeing to the wind. Okay, I'm talking mathematical equations. If your cost of living is X and you're making Y, then you've got to ask, how am I going to crack this X nut? And it's these illegitimate overlords at the top that create the policies that we all have to live under. And you know, they keep on raising the bar. They keep on making the nut harder to crack. They keep on oppressing people, okay? And what's going to happen is the weak will die off, okay? When the system rejects them and they die out in the cold of homelessness, because once a fellow, often if he seeks help once and that help is denied him from governmental social services, welfare, okay, because there's a lot of people falling through the cracks, in case you haven't understood, and they're dying out in the cold. They're getting their heads kicked in by thugs. Some of these people were just a few years ago middle-class homeowners, and then they had their houses stolen because of these liar loans that the banks totally ushered in and encouraged and promoted by just dumping money on the housing mortgage market, dramatically driving up our cost of living and housing costs, and totally debasing your housing dollar. Okay, that's what inflation in your cost of living, especially those things you can't get away from: food, housing, water, just the basic essential needs. You know, energy increasingly has been a part of that. But you know, the housing, all they have to do is pick on one essential human need, okay, and then they got you by the throat. You understand? If there's no government controls in terms of protection, consumer protection, just to regulate the wolves, then what do you get? You know, two wolves and one sheep sitting down, what's for dinner? Well, they're going to gobble up the population, okay? The people are the sheeple, okay? They know this. They think they're so much smarter just because they've been able to dupe you, you know? We got them before they got us, you know what I mean? That's their attitude. But you've got to understand what's happened here, folks. So do the math. It's mathematics. Go back 50 years ago, okay? And just take a standard, you know, snapshot. 50 years. In 1964, minimum wage was approximately, it was just less than $1.50 an hour, I believe. So you can look up the statistics, are all there online. So that $1.50 an hour, let's say, your wife could stay home. You could pay the mortgage on your home in wherever you wanted to live in America comfortably. Drive a nice car, afford all your bills, pay your electric and water, and you know, everything else you need, clothing and utility, toiletries, all the things you needed and wanted, you know. You could buy gifts for your children at Christmas, this sort of thing. So everybody had dignity and respect at whatever job they went to, okay? And this has been chipped away. You know, the nails have continually been put in our coffin, because what happened was in 1963, okay, JFK tried to give the American people sound currency. Knowing what sound currency was, okay, this man was not an idiot, okay? He really understood the imperative nature of ever, you know, really bringing America up. Not some of America, because America is comprised of people, but all of the people, okay, across the board, regardless of what occupation or trade, vocation you chose for your life. You were honored. You were allowed dignity and respect, and you were allowed a middle-class standard of living. That's egalitarianism. JFK was an egalitarian. And here's the reason why sound currency with checks and balances, with accountability, creates this rising tide of prosperity across the board. It's really very, very simple. It's because society as a collective, and collective is not always a pejorative. It's good when a family works together, that's a collective, micro-collective, or when, you know, the factory works together to manufacture something, or when a society works together as a collective. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a society. Our forebears before us, you know, built the infrastructure that we're all enjoying today. They're dead and gone. Who does it belong to? It belongs to all of us. But they did it collectively. We've worked collectively to build the factories and the stuff that comes out of the factories. They're my brothers, they're my sisters, they're your brothers, they're your sisters, okay? And this stuff, you know, is a collective gain, because it's an accumulation of technology over millennia. You know, started with the advent of things like the wheel and a hammer and nails, you know, some of the most rudimentary technology. But, you know, all of it belongs to we the people collectively. This is our riches. This is improvements on the planet. So automatically, you understand that this planet belongs to you. You know, if you don't understand the importance of embracing ethics and egalitarianism into economics, you don't understand economics at all. All you really understand is fraud. And you understand going along with this current reality that's been inflicted upon us, monetary-based reality, this magic elixir